All right, welcome back to another episode of Mind Three Cents. Now, I know you've seen by the title, there is no secret. Today, I'm exposing the fact that there's nothing for you to do to manifest. I'm going to expose something that most people talk around because it's a great talking point. It makes people a lot of money. They sell courses on this all the time. You got Joel Osteen. He has built a career off of the manifesting principles. Some Christians call it name it, claim it. But not many people actually understand what manifesting is. You got people that talk about manifesting and don't even believe in magic. Magic is intention. It's when you set out to make something happen and you do it. That's magical in a world of meat and flesh. You guys don't get what's going on sometimes. And we take for granted the mystical things that we are totally allowed to do. Like thinking, imagining, inventing. These would have been forms of magic a long time ago, easily seen as magic. So I think that to understand what the secret is, to understand how to manifest, first thing you need to do is understand who you think you are and what you're becoming. Get in that mirror, stare into them eyes until it gets weird, right? Because if it's getting weird, you haven't looked at yourself long enough or often enough. You need to do the who, what, when, where, and why on yourself. Who are you? Who are you becoming? What do you mainly do? What do you spend your time doing throughout your day? Right? What do you want to do? What do you feel passionate about doing? When? When will your change come? When will you feel better about yourself? When will you accept that your life is the best that it can be? Now. Because now is the only time that's real. Where am I headed? When you look at the current path that you're on, you need to really ask yourself where you're headed based upon what you're doing now. Why are things this way? These are all the common questions that a person would ask themselves but rarely answer. So I'm here today to tell you, there's nothing for you to do. Everything is already done. There's no manifesting. What there is shifting. And I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to simplify this topic that I feel like people love to complicate because it makes them look like a guru. And if you can manifest and you know people that can't because they try, then you can milk them forever by trickling this information to them, giving them little glimpses of hope that they could actually get out of life what they think they want. You know, people will let you chase your own tail and watch you do it. People will steal from you and help you look for it. So you got to understand, in a world where people will do you that way, you need to get in that mirror, have some self-reflection, some self-realization, and then start building an action plan to get into the reality that you think you're looking for. Because again, there's nothing to do. Everything is already done. How do I know that? Because energy can't be created or destroyed. It can only be transferred. What is there here for you to create that has not been created? Nothing. So if it's nothing for you to do, then what should you do? You should be, right? I've said this before. You're not a human doing, you're a human being. The most powerful thing you can do is be. That is a present tense action. The proof that there's nothing for you to do is to really understand that all circumstances and situations have limitations within them, right? Built-in structure. All these things are structured. A problem has a solution. You don't have to create it. You just have to move towards it. You get what I'm saying? So every choice that exists is already a choice. Anything that doesn't exist in your situation doesn't exist. There's nothing for you to do once again. This is going to be a running thing. There's nothing for you to do. Now let's talk about actions and reactions. Because we all know that life is all about how we react to things, correct? So this would imply that actions have already been taken if we are here to react. So if we are reacting, or acting over again, where is the first action? It is this thing that we are within. Again, there is nothing for you to do. All you have to do is be present. When I'm done with this short episode, you will know how to manifest. You will listen to somebody else talk about it, and you will know that they are trying to sell you a dream. In this life, you have to learn how to be who you want to be. Again, we're human beings, not human doings. So you have what we call free will to be whatever it is you want to be. Now, how can we talk about manifesting and not mention free will? So what you got to know is that you are already at your manifestation. There is nothing for you to do. What you need to do is accept what is. Once you can accept what is, you can just be. Again, the most powerful thing you can do is be. You are the human being. If all paths exist, if all opportunities exist, if free will is a real concept, then you have to realize that you are just path hopping. You are reality jumping. You are time shifting. However you want to refer to it, this is what you're doing towards the reality that you can see for yourself, where you have whatever it is you think you need. This is the key component of manifestation that people miss. You don't need to name and claim anything. You need to operate like the version of yourself that already has those things. You have to raise your standards to raise your standards. If nothing happens, nothing happens. So the best you can do is shift realities in your now. You cannot create anything better for yourself. You can only be better. You cannot talk about getting better. You can't try. All those things never come. The only thing real is now. You sit still right now. Close your eyes. Breathe. Listen to your breath. Listen to this episode. Be present. We are all in the moment that we are in. That is the only thing real. If you spend your now regretting and imagining the past, you're not being present. Therefore, you are not gifted. If you spend your time imagining the future, you become anxious. Again, not present. No gifts. But when you're in the now, when you're present, you understand that the gift is to be where you are. You have everything you need. And if at any time you say to yourself, I need to be better, I want to be better, you're playing games with yourself, because all you would have to do is be better. That's it. There's nothing to do. You have to accept where you are. You are already at your manifestation. Accept it. If you do not like the manifestation that you are at, then alter your who, what, when, where, why. Alter how you are. That's it. Just be that. You ask yourself, and I'll use wealth as an example because everybody thinks they want to be wealthy until you see the problems that come along with money that you're not ready for. But to a person that wants to be wealthy, you don't need to buy a person's course. You don't need to listen to their speeches unless it's going to unlock you. When I get on here and talk, I imagine that when people listen to these episodes, even if it's one person, they get something from it. I'm good. You don't have to fully understand everything I'm saying. You definitely don't have to fully agree with everything I'm saying. But I know what I'm saying. I am my own proof. So again, if all paths exist and if free will is actually a real thing, then you got to realize all you're doing is path jumping. Free will allows you to shift realities. You see, conviction is knowing that the reality that you see exists already. Again, conviction is knowing that the reality that you see for yourself already exists for you. Now you have what's called conviction. It comes with a knowing, not a believing. You don't have to create what you already have. Once you realize that, you gain conviction. Conviction does not come from mental effort. Conviction is a natural byproduct of empowerment that comes from knowing. You see? So when you have conviction, that is what makes you unstoppable. Another person can believe or not in your conviction, but the fact that you have conviction means that you're moving beyond belief. I hope you get what I'm saying. You're moving beyond belief when you have conviction. There's nothing for you to do but be present, have acceptance of your now, gain conviction by knowing what's happening, and feel empowered. This shifts you to where you think you want to be. You got to remember, all creation is done. Energy cannot be created or destroyed at this point. It is finished. Now you have what's called free will, which just gives you the ability to move through realities. Free will gives you the ability to use action. Remember we talked about action, reaction. Free will gives you the ability to use action to shift to the reality you want to be in. You can go there and react. You see what I'm saying? There has to be an action first before there's a reaction. But just by understanding those two words and knowing that life is all about reaction to life, then we have to understand that the first action of life is what it is. And we are here to accept it. Stop trying to manifest. You have already done it. I guarantee you right now, if you go and buy some books, you start reading real heavy and writing, the reality that opens up for you is due to your shift in your actions. That's how you manifest. You just do. You just are, you just be. And as we talk about free will being able to move you through realities, one other thing I want to mention is the power of words. Because we talked about action, we talked about reaction. But the caveat with all this is that if you don't understand word power, all your actions will be moot. Nothing will matter. Literally, right? Nothing will come into fruition. That's why we use the word matter. It doesn't matter. It won't come into fruition. We won't be able to see it and touch it. So word power has to be under control as well. And when we're talking about action and reaction, and we're talking about manifesting, then I want to bring up a word, karma, because karma is a phenomenon in itself. This is what a lot of people don't realize. Now, this is why I study etymology, because I don't just use these words, I know where they come from. Karma is, in Sanskrit, when you go all the way back to Sanskrit, karma is a word that means action. So there you go again, action and reaction. So once you react to an action, you get action again, which is called karma. It is the same. Why? Because what we project into the ethereal field of this galaxy, because energy cannot be destroyed or created, right? Only transmitted, only transfigured, trans something. So when we project our energy into the ethereal field, that energy is always going to return in some type of form. They call that karma, but it's really a phenomena referred to as karma, which just means action. So when you're using these words, this can alter your experience as you jump and shift realities, ultimately confusing yourself. You won't understand that your actions and your words aren't aligning, so it's giving you a conflict within in your outcome and how you perceive yourself and how you perceive your life, which will leave you in a state of saying something like, I need better, I want. That's how you end up in those places, because you don't understand karma, or the phenomenon that returns energy back to you that you put out. It's just you. There's nothing for you to do but be. Be present, be mindful. every bit of energy you produce that comes back to you will be present and mindful as well. This is like compound interest, right? So I can't mention word power without mentioning the term I am, right? Because I told you, I'm breaking this code, I'm done with this. People think that manifesting is this big secret thing when they're doing too much to get what they think they want. That's why they don't have it. And again, the reason you will never have what you think you want is because you want it. Stop wanting things and you will have them. I can't say that any plainer. So when we're using words like I am, which to me this is the code breaker. When you're talking about words meeting with actions and reactions, now you have this I am, this is the code breaker. This is the ultimate cheat code in language, because whatever you say after that kind of opens the portal for your shifting. You say I am and say something after that, you have opened a gateway into a version of you. It's that simple. You can say I am wealthy, I am prosperous. And what that does is open up a gateway to the prosperous version of you. And if you say that enough, you'll feel it and you'll understand what you're doing. And you will be prosperous, because what else can you be? So again, being is the most powerful thing you can do. Stop trying, stop saying you need, stop going after things, trying to manifest something when you have already manifested what you can. Accept it and be better. When you do what you've already done, you get what you've already had. You have to do something different to get what you've never seen. I had to dream so big to get my reality to change. I had to dream so big that everybody I told, half of the people I told would say, that's crazy. And another 30% would probably go behind my back and say, he'll never do that. That's how big I had to dream. I needed that adverse energy. I needed that doubt. I needed that hate. I needed people saying, he's crazy. How's he gonna? Yeah, I needed all that. Thank you. Because it created the rest of the energy. I already had the positive side. They created the negative side. Now I got a whole pendulum. We have to accept the good with the bad. That's where that comes from. Because acceptance of your current position will get you out of this wanting, needing mind state. You can get back to being and alter your whole track. Use your free will. Use your words wisely. So again, I am is the ultimate code. That's the word code to create shift and opportunities. And I feel like using that is like using a portal. And the last word I'll mention is the word abracadabra, because it totally goes with this conversation. Now, when you hear the word abracadabra, you're going to say, well, that's something that magicians say. That's my point exactly. You know, all these things are symbolic of where they come from, right? Everything that exists now is an extension of where it came from. So to have magic people or magicians or whatever you want to call these people that believe in the symbology of magic or magical practice, which is just having intention and follow through, that is equivalent to magic, okay? We'll use a word like abracadabra. What does abracadabra mean when translated? Abracadabra actually means I create when I speak. So again, a lot of these things have been made mystical to a lot of you people. The esoteric knowledge, esoteric just means hidden from the majority or reserved for certain groups. That is what a cult means. It's not for everybody because not everybody's there. It is for everybody, but not everybody's ready to receive it, right? Who doesn't need the code breakers to this reality? We've been spoon-fed things to believe in, but they won't just tell you plainly the code breakers, the things that can actually shift your experience. So abracadabra is I create when I speak. Magic is intention. You can't manifest because you already did. There's nothing for you to do. It's already done. All you need to do is be. Now, I hope I made that plainly enough. I hope that somebody got something from it because it's the best way I can explain it. Just be, right? If you choose to put a smile on your face and walk around happy, you are now happy. You did not have to manifest happiness. You get what I'm saying? So look, this has been another episode of My 3 Cents. I appreciate you listeners out there. We got a lot of new listeners on a lot of other platforms besides, I won't say the main platform, but we're on about 5 platforms. And for you all that's listening, you've been knocking it out the park this last month, especially. So let's keep it up. Spread the word. Apparently you guys are getting something from it, and I'm gonna keep doing it. That inspires me to get on here and record, share a piece of my mind, and get off and get back to work. We all got shit to do, right? So this has been another episode of My 3 Cents. I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm gone.